Well, the Eagles lost another piece on the offensive line, but how long could it be for Landon Dickerson? Plus, Jason Kelce weighed in on the offense, and Nick Sirianni defended several different play calls against Seattle while holding one of the strangest pressers you'll see. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, alright, let's start with some good news that the Birds announced they're bringing back the black unis for the Giants game on Christmas. And as we know, they've definitely provided a spark in past outings, so hopefully that does the trick. But speaking of the Christmas Day game, just a heads up to my guy Danny Flores for winning the ticket giveaway. I need you to email me, bro. I gotta get you those tickets. And probably gonna give it just another 24 hours before I'll need to draw again for someone else to ensure they can get them in time for the game. Now, hopefully, Danny, you don't miss the game, but unfortunately, Landon Dickerson will. After Tim McManus reported that the left guard is having thumb surgery and will miss at least one game before being able to return after suffering the injury in Seattle, meaning it's very possible we could be without both starting guards against New York, since Cam Jurgens is still trying to come back from the pec injury he had in the game against Dallas, which is obviously not great considering our offense has been pretty lackluster these past couple weeks. And Jason Kelce had a couple thoughts on that.
I think we are inconsistent. I think we do some things really well at times, and then we have either penalties or turnovers or whatever are really stalling us out, and teams are forcing us to take a lot of underneath stuff right now. They're playing a lot of quarters. They're playing really soft coverages, which kind of have limited some of our big plays, right? And when you take that away, the first half we have two 8-minute drives where we go all the way down and should have had 2 touchdowns if it wasn't for my bonehead play on the quarterback sneak. So yeah, I mean those are 2 long drives, and it's hard to do that consistently in this league, and we should be able to. I mean, we're an NFL offense with a lot of great players. Like we have to be able to do that, and I think that we've got to find a way though to also create explosive plays, especially in the air, even when teams are playing quarters. And we're doing our best to figure that out and get back to being the offense that we've been in previous years.
Okay, I love Jason, and I think I understand what he's getting at, but like we saw against Seattle, it was that taking advantage of what the defense gives you that worked so well. And you know what? Maybe if the defense is playing so soft coverage, you keep dinking and dunking. Yet for some reason, Jalen and his squad feel the urge to go for the big play. And sure, I think we all had our preconceived ideas for why that may be, but Nick Sirianni's presser officially confirmed it.
Make no mistake about it, like this offense is being run the exact same way the offense was run last year. And the year before that. This offense is my offense, right? This is my offense. And so the criticism on the offense, like, I think unfairly goes to Brian. Brian calls the plays. It unfairly goes to Brian. The criticism on this offense should come at me, and because this is my offense. So I was hired to do a job here, and got hired because I was successful as an offensive coordinator. With our schemes and the different things that we did to coach players and help players win. And I'm committed to that. And like I said, the criticism should come at me, and I think it unfairly goes at Brian a lot of the times because he's calling the plays. But make no mistake about it, this offense has been consistently similar throughout the 3 years. Yes, there's different things you do based off your personnel and different things you do based off the teams that you're playing and what's working for you. But again, it all starts there with me. And so I guess I would, I'm not thinking that a change needs to be made there for multiple reasons, and that's one big one.
Okay, well, there you go. We can stop with the fire BJ comments and direct them right at Sirianni, because to say it's the exact same offense is definitely part of the problem, especially when you look at the Indianapolis Colts and what Shane Steichen is doing now, and I almost can't stand to see how many RPOs and variations of RPOs that Steichen runs with success. I mean, come on, his play calling just makes it so much easier on the offense. Yet who knows, maybe that's exactly what Sirianni wanted, just a yes man who's not going to challenge his offense.
I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant. Okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you.
All right, sure. BJ's probably a little more involved than that. But it does bring up a good question and something Thomas Mott and I discussed during our live show.
Let's say Brian Johnson was a yes man early on. Sure, fine. But when it starts unraveling and Brian Johnson searches his name on Twitter and sees all the expletives that are lined up next to his first and last name, you'd think he would eventually go like, hey, boss, I know that you want to do it this way, but I'm getting dragged for this. What if we tried this? And then if Sirianni doesn't want to do it, that's a different story. And again, we won't know. We're not in the meeting rooms. But at some point, you can't be a yes man forever. Like, even if you're working at a corporate job, but if that's dragging you down and you know the corporate job is going into the dump and you will lose your job unless something changes, you will at some point speak up to your boss, no matter how afraid you are of that person. You got to be like, hey, boss, we do it this way. Now, they might say no, and then guess what? You're going down with the ship, but at least you tried, and I would believe he's smart enough to have tried, right?
Maybe
Hopefully.
like it's all we hope so, but
I know, it's all speculation, dude.
I'd also argue that, like, again, this is Brian Johnson's first year, so if he's looking at it and he knows, right? He's been in Philly long enough. He knows that we can get a little emotional. Like, if Philly fans can get a little bit overreactionary, like, okay, that's fine. But when he goes and looks at the stats, he probably was buying into the, okay, you know what? I know everyone's saying fire Brian Johnson, whatever, but at the same time, I'm like, what was it? Like 9th or 10th in offense rankings or whatever. That's not bad. Hey, we're in the top third. No. Bro, listen, you got an offense. You've got players like we've been talking about. You should be top 3 without question. You have way too many skill players. But I am almost wondering if he's going in and saying, like, hey, that's not awful. Like, yeah, we need to improve stuff, but it's not terrible enough for me to, maybe go to the head coach, go to Sirianni, say, we got to change some stuff. Like, this is not good. Maybe he's just saying, we'll get it figured out. 10th is okay. We'll get it figured out. We'll get this thing rolling and get into top 3 by the end of the season. And what it's done is the reverse of that. And, the defense has been poor from almost the beginning. But on the offensive side, I don't know. Does he have the confidence or the resume to go up there and be like, hey, Nick, this is not exactly working. I don't know that I buy into this. I don't know that I believe it. And that's the part, again, that we can all just speculate because we don't know for sure. But Sirianni did finally, for once, like, we were all saying this is probably the case. But he said, hey, put it on me. I mean, he's literally asking or people saying fire Brian Johnson, the trending that we see every week. Mm-hmm. I mean, you shouldn't see it. You shouldn't see it anymore. Really, you should see fire Nick Sirianni. That should be what trends because he basically said it's on me. Like, it's my offense. It starts with me. It's my offense. I'm telling everyone basically what to run. Brian Johnson's calling the plays. But I mean, it sounds like it's all on Nick Sirianni there. I think you need more challengers, right? We heard the report. Let's take it back to, as much as we hate him, take it back to Jonathan Gannon and the Athletic report that came out earlier this season of Gannon saying they had a meeting with him, Steichen, and Sirianni when they're 2-5. Sirianni's freaking out, apparently, according to Gannon. Mm-hmm. He's freaking out. He's going, hey, we're going to get fired. We're going to lose our jobs. This is it. It's over. And, again, this is all according to Gannon. I really struggle to believe this, but to him, he says, he was the level head. He goes, hey, let Shane call the plays. What's the worst can happen? We're going to get fired anyway if we finish the season 2 and whatever. Like, see what he can do. Is there some truth to that? I think it's a little bit of a exaggeration, but maybe there's more truth than what we were led to believe or what we led to thought or to think in that situation. So I don't know, but does he have those challengers in the room? I think Patricia is and could be a challenger, but Desai and Brian Johnson, like, neither of them strike me as when they're going over the game plan to be like, I'm not so sure that one works. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you feel like Nicholas has any challengers in the room? I mean, we got to at least hope so because remember how predictable the offense was on Monday night?
Jalen Hurts is running a QB draw to the left. The tight end's going to pull. He's deep. Tight end's deep, so he's sifting backside. There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Look, I talked about it on my last video, but that's not a good sign. You knew and I knew exactly what was coming. However, that predictability apparently isn't a concern to Sirianni.
Good eye by Christian McCaffrey to see that, point that out. We have never run that play from that formation, so I think you're looking at a guy who's highly. Let me say what I think of Christian McCaffrey. Like, he's got high football IQ. He's got very high football IQ to be able to see that. That doesn't mean that other guys on the defense don't that play was designed to put us in either 3rd or 4th and short or to get the first down. We accomplished the goal from that play, got ourselves in 4th and short, and ended up getting a first down from that. I think the other thing, EJ, that good offenses have, very similar to the 49ers, they have plays that they run as staples, so staples are a play that you have that that you lean on. Every good football team, every good offense I've ever been on has staples, including the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles. The 2023 Philadelphia Eagles have staples because, again, it's about what you do well.
Oh, cool. So like the Quez Watkins staple we continue to run.
There's no good reason.
Look, just because you did something well doesn't mean you continue to keep running it. Okay, you're right. The brotherly shove is the lone exception, so I'm fine. Keep rolling with that one. But for the love of all things holy, can we please stop with Quez Watkins' deep shots? Of course, we probably won't be so lucky with Sirianni defending the play in the postgame presser saying we've hit on those before, yet I called BS on that from the beginning, and shout out to Shane Half for doing the research, but Jalen Hurts is 0 for 6 with 2 INTs and 1 drop when targeting Quez Watkins 20 or more yards down the field in the last 381 days. Watkins has a negative 1.79 EPA per target on those plays. With Shane also inserting, it is astounding how little effort he consistently displays to come back to the ball. And I'd also add, it's astounding how little effort he has everywhere. Sorry, the dude just can't be trusted. However, unfortunately, Sirianni's not come to that conclusion yet.
To understand this with Quez, his speed changes the game, and not just because it's going to him, it's going to open up the rest of the field. And you can't always predict where the ball is going to go. The defense, obviously, there's things that happen where the defense dictate where's the ball going to go. So in that particular case, that was one of them. Quez was on a clear out route. The defense did something a little different than what we anticipated, and the ball got shot and went to him. And I still have confidence in Quez, but sometimes he's in there also to clear the field and to show his speed, because his speed is legit.
Well, guess what? Mr. Legit is going to get someone killed, because Nick can say whatever he wants to about Quez being a threat and helping to clear out areas for other receivers, but Devonta Smith's just lucky he didn't take a massive shot for Quez's whatever that is. I know, I'm probably way too fired up, but the head coach's presser just did something to me, and it didn't make me feel any better when he broke down the last-second deep shot to A.J. Brown that got picked off, while also sharing the reasoning and or hope for dialing up that play.
At times there, Tim, we've seen you can get a pass interference there. It was what it was on that particular play. But if you get a pass interference call there, and if a team's giving you a one-on-one shot for very similar to what happened on the other side of the ball, they ended up getting a one-on-one shot that had some different things there, and we've seen it. We had one-on-one shot against the Rams. And you can get a pass interference, and now you're in position to kick it. So we have some of the best receivers in the NFL outside, and so there's times where you're going to do that. And we felt like in that situation we had an opportunity to. It didn't work out that particular time. But we've done it at other times in 2-minute drills, and it's worked. But in that particular time it didn't work. So we understand the criticism, not only could you get a pass interference, also AJ has a tremendous ability to come down with the football in one-on-one situations. And you know what? In this particular case, it didn't work out. But we're comfortable with what was called and what we did in that scenario, and we'll be better next time because of it.
What? You're telling me that your best bet when you've got the best kicker in the league and only need 15 yards is to call a deep shot to A.J. Brown, with the main hope being that the refs are going to bail you out? Okay, all right. My hope is that Sirianni's just feeding us a lot of the same lies while also maybe making an attempt to cover up for Jalen, because who knows, maybe that was Jalen's mistake there. But by doubling down on it, it doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. Plus, don't forget he said the same thing about the Quez play too on hoping for a PI. I don't know. Personally, I kind of feel like Sirianni isn't the offensive mastermind he thinks he is. Although I know he doesn't have the best track record in press conferences anyway, so maybe we can just chalk this message up to nonsense and move on. Where are you guys at though? How concerning were Sirianni's comments, or do you think it's just all smoke and mirrors? Either way, for those that are buying what he's selling, I should point out that Matt Patricia won't be running his own defensive scheme. It'll instead be Sean Desai's, but there will be changes as the Eagles go. And I get that it's too late to have a massive overhaul with Patricia bringing an entirely new scheme, yet I do do hope he's able to continue calling the shots and implementing more differences, especially situationally. I mean, honestly, whatever helps the pass rush win, because I think all of us realize the only way we're going to get anywhere is behind the defensive line. But I don't know, I'm really struggling to keep the faith. However, at least we play New York and are officially 12-point favorites now, so surely we can finally get a get-right game and get some things figured out, right? I mean, at least Colin Cowherd seems to think so.
The problem with the Eagles, they're living on the margins. They remind me a lot of the Kansas City Chiefs. Eagles-Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. They're not as good this year. Schedule's been tougher this year. The margins are shrinking. So those games they won, now they're losing. But I still think Kansas City's going to play in the AFC Championship, and I feel okay about Philadelphia getting to the NFC Championship. San Francisco's there for sure. But again, go to the playoffs. Detroit at Philly, LA at Philly, Tampa at Philly, Dallas at Philly. I'd still take Philly.
Look, I want to believe it, but they got to prove it to me at this point, and I definitely don't blame you if you feel the same way. This has been the Philly Special.